Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 104 of Confessions of a Market Maker. I'm your co-host, Ray, aka All Day Ray, aka Lefty, and I'm joined here by my infamous co-host, former market maker, 20 years and current day retail trader, the Vancouver heartthrob and third Butabi brother. He taught you how to think like a villain. JJ, how's it going?
Good, brother. What's up? I was thinking about you. I saw that clip from The Sopranos when Paulie and Maltasanti get lost in the woods. Because my girlfriend made me go hiking this weekend, and I felt like those guys, So I was thinking about you when you were canoeing with the alligators, and I was just laughing like, we got no business being here, but I'm excited to be here, and we have a good special guest with us today.
We have a great guest. Yeah, we'll have to film an episode, JJ. Modern day Sopranos, but South Florida,
Exactly.
in the woods,
What's
nature. Yeah. So our guest today, she's an investor, trader, coach for financial independence, and published author. She's a graduate of Columbia University. She's been featured on NBC, Huffington Post, Business Insider, New York Post, and many others. I am talking about the lovely Lia Holmgren. Lia, how's it going?
Hi guys, hello. Thanks for having me.
Hi.
Having a great day.
Great day. Okay, love to hear it. Great day. Great day. Thanks so much for joining us. What's making today a great day?
Just a good day trading. I mean, that's all we need sometimes as traders, right?
Oh yeah.
That'll definitely give the day a boost. That's for sure. Leah, before you were a trader, you were working as a intimacy and relationship coach. So before we jump into talking about trading, I feel like that's probably was an interesting profession. You care to tell us a little bit about it?
Of course, yeah. So I worked as an intimacy relationship coach and marriage counselor for almost 10 years. And, in my undergrad, I went to pre-med. I studied biopsychology, and I really wanted to become a psychiatrist because I always really cared about human psychology. It fascinates me, and I wanted to become a doctor of psychiatry. But then somehow I decided to not do the path of 6-7 more years and went to Columbia for master's in negotiation and conflict resolution, which was highly applicable in business. We studied a lot about game theory and so I decided to use all this research that I read through and all what I learned in relationships and help people resolve conflicts. I helped thousands of people in the past, like to do in-person seminars for people, group coaching, and sadly COVID hit. And my practice got closed because I wasn't an MD, so it was really hard for me to stay open. And I just don't like to work with people as much in this kind of topics online. It's very intimate, it's private, and people, I just like to feel the energy of people. So it was really difficult, and I had a lot of time on my hands. So I wrote a book, and I had a lot of money invested in the markets. I was a passive investor. I've been investing for 10 years into the markets now, and over almost 18 years into real estate and other stuff. But so I said, you know what, the volatility is fascinating, and I would love to learn how the markets work. Because, I as I said, I would just invest in like SPY and Vanguard ETFs and stuff like that. I would just have my money there and didn't really do much. I don't think I ever sold a stock or ETF before 2020. I was just buying them and holding. So I said, let me learn. So that's the journey. And it's been now 3 years exactly, actually. End of March, I started. And it's been a fascinating journey. And I realized how much of the stuff I learned from human psychology and game theory and all that stuff and you can apply in the markets. And that's why I really love to focus on that when I coach people.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I thought. When I was like prepping for this podcast, the psychology part of it probably being a draw for you, like in the markets. Remember, for myself, I've always been fascinated with psychology. Obviously, playing poker, that's a huge part of it. Game theory as well. So you kind of had like these skills that sound like that would be very applicable to trading. So when you first started trading, like what were some of the resources you went to when you started becoming an active trader?
So first I started learning with Investopedia, quite frankly. And I tried the like paper trading platform, which was not the best, but they have amazing source of information. Then I actually discovered Benzinga, and I would go on Benzinga and start learning more from the retail trading. And then I discovered other guys, and then somehow I discovered Twitter, which I was on Twitter as a coach, but I never used it. And then I was just making my way and learning, and joined a couple of Discord groups back then that I was learning with. And that was my journey. And then just reading a lot of books. I have here in my office a ton of books. I'm just constantly reading about options. I mainly trade options and stocks. I don't trade futures yet. So yeah, that was my journey. And now I'm profitable consistently. I live off of my trading profits and passive income. So that's my life story pretty much.
The life story, excellent. What you mentioned you read a bunch of books. Do you have any like favorite like one or two that you want to give to the listeners, trading books?
Yes, I can even show them. I have the options and volatility here that I really love. Actually, I even took, believe it or not, but I even took the CMT Association book, which was really good. Nice. I didn't do the test because it was just 2 more semesters to go, but I think this basic one was excellent for learning. Just if you don't even want to do the association and have the certification. Then I love option volatility and pricing. And I like Psychology of Money, Reminiscence of Stock Operator, which is filled with stories, but it's actually interesting that the psychology that he was talking about back in the days, imagine like this been like late 19th, early 20th century, right? So this time ago already, he was talking about the concepts that we are talking about still. And human psychology just doesn't change. It's been like that since the rice stick trading in Japan, like 18th century or something like that. So yeah, we are always the same. We're going to always behave the same. We have patterns, and it's really hard to get rid of those patterns. And as a trader, you have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah.
That's a fascinating part to me. And JJ, I swear we've talked about this so much with different guests, right? You referenced the book and how the psychology doesn't change.
The business hasn't changed.
Yeah.
The business hasn't changed in 300 years. It's a market, right? The goal of the market is to take a bunch of cheap stuff and sell it at a higher price for as long as you can, right? Until the buyers run out, and then put it on sale and go back down to the cost basis, right? That's all we're doing. Either we're selling rugs or fish or spices. Here we're just selling worthless paper. But it's all the same thing. And then psychology comes into play. For people who are retail trading, because unfortunately retail traders don't have a support system. They don't have a firm with a risk manager and a compliance officer. They don't have anybody sitting there going, hey, what are you doing? Which is the case when you work in the business. People are always watching you because you're not trading your own capital. So they're watching you. Here, when you're a retail trader, it's a lot harder for retail because they don't have that support system. They don't have any checks and balances.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. So I commend you on becoming consistently profitable. That's wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, it took me 3 years. Last year was a wacky. The 21 I had a losing year, and 2020, of course, I made like 160% of the money I put into the market, because I don't even count it as a year, quite frankly, because I started end of March when we had this giant dip, and no matter what I bought would go up. So yeah, I felt like I'm just the smartest person in the room. I was clearly in the wrong room. And then I started really learning the hard way in 21. And when we all start going down, like if you remember, like after President's Day 21, February 21, I never forget that, when we started losing our stacks and all this speculative stuff went down. I mean, it's been going down until now. Pretty much now it's stabilizing and going up this year. But we had almost 2 years of sell-off on those names. And yeah, 21, 22, I was profitable, but it was tough. It was back and forth. But we also had bear market. So it was kind of interesting to trade the bear market rallies and shorting. And this year it's been really good. And yeah, I like it. Last year, a lot of dividend stocks also. I rebalanced into energies and dividend stocks last year, which was good. That also helped a lot because, of course, with the interest rates, they were going to raise them. end of 21, I was like, okay, let me rebalance a little bit. So that was interesting. But yeah, I love it. I love the journey. It's amazing. And I really want to help people to do it on their own, because I think that if people would have a little bit more financial stability and financial independence, we would have much better lives and humanity would be much better, and yeah, so that's kind of my journey now. That's why I do the webinars and all that, what I do, writing a blog and trying to help people,
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
So Leah, you were mentioning that time period, what, March 2020.
Yeah.
You say you buy anything, it's going up. I guess could you first start with kind of just describing maybe like the strategies you were implementing then, and maybe how your trading has evolved up until today?
In 2020, quite frankly, there were not many strategies. Like, I was just starting, I was learning, like I tried it all. I tried to just pretty much buy the dips on retests. I was just pretty much buying stocks that were flashy, like Shopify, Peloton, like you name it. And it was making a lot of money. Like, I even traded GME, quite frankly, from like $4 before it was even a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, sure. I was trading a lot of this like Roku and stocks that would go up absolutely madly, like the art kind of fun. But the thing with me was also I was taking my profits. I wasn't like, oh, let me buy and let it run. And then, so I was taking my profits, and that's like I made the money that year. It was great. Then I started like realizing that less is more, which I'm applying until today. For example, when I day trade, I'm only looking at price action and I'm only looking at 10 moving average. Before, I would have so many indicators on my chart. I would be looking at the RSI. And then sure, look, if you are looking like in the evening or once a week, you want to kind of have an overall idea about the markets and about certain stocks, it's good to look at it. But before, I would try, like my very first strategy was a hammer candle and RSI. I would be trying to trade off of it. I even coded an algo that was trading off of just that.
Wow.
With a guy friend of mine that we were staying together in COVID, and it would not work. And it was an algo. It's like, okay, every hammer candle we're gonna go long, stop loss below. No, the results were questionable, and that's not how markets work. I don't want to rely on just indicators, like really like the price action. And a lot of times people plan their stocks and trades the night before, and for me it's really difficult because I sometimes feel it's like a waste of my time, because the morning you wake up and it's completely different story.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the market opens, and as I said, when I went to New York Stock Exchange, I spoke to the traders there, and they have so much information that we do not have.
Yep.
Like even the order flow, like we have some sort of an order flow. You can see it on the option chain, open interest, and like we see the tape, but it's not even close to what they see.
Well, that's because they're paid to trade against that order flow and provide liquidity.
Yeah.
So it's like they're the source, right? That's where they're at the exchange, and that's where the orders come in.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So I would love to work there if I could choose. It's amazing. I mean, really, I loved it there. I loved New York Stock Exchange. I'm gonna try to go back, and but I mean, we are retail traders. We can trade whatever information we have. We have to make the best out of it, and we still can make money. And I'm still happy because like I'm up on my big portfolio 20% on a year, which is great. And I trade like I have 3 portfolios that I trade actively, and it's good. I'm not complaining.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, because I just have 20 stocks in that portfolio, and I sell options all the time around this same companies when I see there is a big day or bad day,
Yeah,
So
very
it's
good.
like, yeah.
Yeah, we definitely play a tougher game as retail traders. That's for sure. All right, we just got to take a quick second here to shout out good friends of the podcast, Apex Trading and Top Step Funding. Any listener of the podcast that has the skills to pass an evaluation can become a prop trader fully funded by either Apex Trader or Top Step Funding. Our own Micro E Futures trading community has many members who are now fully funded. No need to trade with your own money. Keep 90% of the profits. To learn more, you can visit our website at microefutures.com. Leah, I believe you said before when we were talking about the psychology,
Mm-hmm.
you said something about we like having to untrain ourselves or maybe untrain certain maybe habits or, our psychological disposition. What's something that or some things that you've had to untrain in yourself?
Well, I was very impatient, and the 2020 market did not help it because, again, like everything was moving really fast and aggressively, and I was used to just like buy shares and make profits immediately. And that's not something you can rely on in a normal market. Like, sure, you can find runners and breakouts, which I specialize in when I day trade, but patience, that was something I had to really learn. And I still have some struggles, like I still get impatient when I'm in the train. I'm like, let me wrap this up, like it's my character. Like, you cannot get rid of emotions. It's impossible. We are humans. We're going to have emotions. We can just learn how to manage them and how to not react to them. I think that's more important, because if people are beating themselves up saying, oh, I'm always so angry, I'm always like this, I don't want to be that, I don't want to be this, it's a negative hypnosis. It's just better to really understand who you are and try to manage the reaction on this emotion. These emotions are stronger than behavior, so they're going to always lead you until you really learn to not react. With FOMO as well. I mean, FOMO probably is reason for so many losses in the markets. I think the most from all of these fears we have and emotions, especially in trading, and especially in 2020. I mean, people are just buying stuff that was completely ridiculous from FOMO. So that's an expensive one.
Yeah, that's a term I've never heard of until I hung out with retail traders. Because if you work in the industry and you tell your boss you got FOMO, you're fired. That's first place is you're fired, and second place is you're probably not going to get another job ever if you talk like that. So I was completely unaware of these concepts, revenge trading, FOMO, all that stuff, and it's eye opening to see what retail people
go through.
Yeah, it's interesting.
As you said, like, we don't have anyone to stand there, and that's why, like, I like to be in a group of traders, or I have some guy friends on Twitter that we literally like talk when I find a trade, I share my analysis, I share my ideas, and we discuss it, and they add their input, and we are like, okay, this is making sense. It's like accountability coach almost, you know what I mean? And that's what I like to have. And then I had a lot of coaches at the beginning. I don't work with any coaches anymore, but I do talk with guys that taught me trading at the beginning 3 years ago, and we're still like friends. We trade together, and they love to see how I improved and who I became, and I'm very proud of that. It's such a beautiful journey. So I recommend everyone who is starting to have someone they trust, a credible resource, someone they can talk to. And, like once my coach told me, would you buy this stock at this price? And I'm like, I don't know. It's like, would you be able to tell it to your husband or boyfriend or your friends that you bought it there? Just every time you're going to buy a stock, think about this question. And I love it because it's true. I'm like, what am I doing? Would I be able to share this, what I did, like this degenerate move with my friends? No. So then don't buy it. That's a great one too. There's so many things we can help ourselves with when we're trading, and help to manage our behaviors when we have these emotions around trading. That's the only way we can help, because we won't get fired. We just lose money, which is also really bad.
It absolutely is. The part on the emotions is interesting, that because you were mentioning how people get like upset with their emotions, or like why do I have FOMO, and they get like angry with themselves. And I think you refer to it as like negative hypnosis, right? It's like sometimes if you fight the emotion, it's like you're feeding it even more, right? And it's like you almost have to learn how to accept it, live with it, or maybe you could put it in your own words how you think someone handles an issue like that.
Well, as I said, for example, fear. We use the wrong language. You say, I don't want to be scared. I don't want this. First of all, if you say don't, usually it's going to happen. So what you want to do, you want to understand that fear is actually there to protect you. Because fear is gonna protect you from dying, and in this case, it's protecting you from losing money. So you can make fear your friend, but you have to literally like talk to it and analyze, like, why am I scared? What am I worried about? Because sometimes people are so worried they will not even take a trade. And then you have to dig deeper, like, why am I so scared? Why I don't trust myself? I researched this stock. Maybe it's because we don't like to lose. People are really doing poorly when they're losing. We have to always be winning. And that's a wrong attitude in market, because you're going to be wrong 40-50% of time anyways. Like as traders are, right? Statistically, it's common to be wrong. It's just about cutting your losses quickly.
Yep.
So that's what I tell people: just make the fear your friend. Fear of missing out is unhealthy. You don't want to make fear of missing out your friend too much, but it's like how to work with it. If you feel you have FOMO, just write down why you have FOMO. What do you think? If you think it's the last trade on the planet we can take, there will be no more trades ever. Market is closed forever.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's just rational.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It definitely seems like your prior experience to trading, just the grasp of psychology, it does, right? Doesn't it? It makes trading, yeah, I mean, it makes it a lot easier if you just understand these concepts. It's because that's probably most traders' downfall. I would probably, yeah, no, it definitely is. I mean, maybe not for some, maybe it's a tactical, strategical error. Um, do you see any parallels between relationship counseling or things you learn there and maybe the psychology like in the markets?
Yeah, well, the sad part is that always made me sad when people had issues in marriage or with relationships or anything from life. They would think it's going to fix overnight, and in one sitting they wanted me to do magic. And the same is with trading. Most traders don't even know about psychology of trading. They don't even think that's the problem. A lot of men, for fact, don't even understand they have emotions, because men are raised, sadly, in modern cultures to not have any emotions. They don't even know how to feel emotions. So when you come with the topic of trading psychology, most people are like, what? This is so boring. This is unsexy. I don't want to learn. I just want to make money quickly. But if you don't master that base, you will not make money quickly. You will lose them quickly. And what I learned from the psychology of humans in both of those industries is that if you have a problem in trading or life, you have to start within. The problem is inside of you. You need to start working on yourself. If it's in marriage as well, each of the couple has something they need to fix first, and then they can work on them together. And the same with trading. If there is a problem, it's just important to identify a problem. Sure, you can go to a coach and pay $300, $400, $500 an hour. I used to pay $500 an hour for trading coaching easily. I spent $20,000-$30,000 on my trading education. Like it is expensive. It was worth it, but a lot of people spend this money and they still don't make money, So you can go to a coach and learn, or you can just sit down and really spend the time when you take a trade, take a little trade with small amount and write down like why you feel this way. Is that the fear of existential fear? Do you need money? Or is it you want to prove your wife or husband that you make money, that you're worth it? Is it your ego? There's so many answers to this. It's just like FOMO, fear of missing out, is an umbrella, name for a fear. But why is it actually happening? Why do we have FOMO? Why do we think this is the last time I can do something? And then once you get to the bottom, the same in psychotherapy, it's the same thing. You have to, I'm jealous. Why am I jealous? Jealousy stems from fear. Fear of what? Losing someone or being humiliated. So the same concept applies to trading psychology.
It's fascinating. I could talk about this all day. I love it. It's such a powerful concept. Looking in, right? It's never external. The problems are never external. It's always looking within. And I always try and remind myself that it's like, no, like look within. It's not on the outside. Very, very.
We humans, we tend to look at the superficial things first. Oh, what happened?
Yep, I'm having a little issue with your camera. It says change or charge battery.
What? Oh my gosh. Okay.
Uh-oh, hopefully we don't lose you.
Oh no, you can't. 1 second. I'm so
That's all
sorry.
right.
Where
No,
is it?
no worries.
Hmm.
All right, we're back here. Sorry, we had a little technical difficulties.
No, it's again.
Oh no, again.
Uh-oh.
Okay, well, this is not okay because it's.
Hold on. All right, and now I think we're back for a third time. Back from the technical difficulties, but we're going to jump into the miscellaneous questions here. Leah, how did you get to ring the bell at the New York Stock Exchange? How did you pull that off?
Oh, well, I wasn't ringing the bell for per se. I was there for the open, and I was
Oh.
there talking with the traders, and I was just like exploring the whole place, talking to market makers. I got invited by the Einstein of Wall Street, who is a really, really interesting person who's been trader there for 37 years. Peter Tuchman, he's amazing.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
he invited me to go, and I saw I learned a lot about how they trade actually, and how they do their orders. I tried out Bloomberg Terminal, which I wish I could get for my house. That would be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe one day. And I loved it. It was peaceful. It was wonderful.
Awesome.
Just the energy there was nice. Yeah.
Awesome. You how long did you used to live in New York City, right? For how long?
I used to live in New York for 7.5 years. I went to my undergrad and grad school there. I had my practice there, and I loved the city, but I left in COVID. It was just too much for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I miss New York, but I miss the old New York, not the New York that's now. I feel like the city changed so much.
Yeah, you want to just give us like maybe like one or two things you think that's changed?
Of course, the crime went up like 300%. I don't feel safe. Like New York was one of the cities where I would walk in the middle of the night alone and I would not be scared. I had no problems to go home at midnight or 1 a.m. from dinner or drinks and just take a walk. It's impossible now, and it just got very unsafe, I think. And a lot of the great people that I knew left. There is a new crowd in the city that came from I don't know where, from different cities. So it brought like they love it because they don't know the old New York. But for me, the chic classic New York that I used to love, it's just not there right now. And it's been now 3 years. I have a place in New York that I spent about 3 months a year there. I rent a place in New York. I still go there because I have a lot of friends in New York, and the networking for finance and trading is the best in the country, in my opinion. So I love it, but I'm in Florida. I'm a Florida girl. And I've been in Florida since 2008. I always had Florida as my second home, but I made New York my first home for 7 years back then.
Yeah, big shout out to Florida. The synergy between New York and Florida is you got a lot of people like yourself. I remember when I first moved to Florida, everyone I was meeting was from New York. So that's interesting. So you're in Miami now?
Yes, I'm in Miami Beach. And as I said, like I moved here in 2008 from Germany. I love Miami Beach. I love it so much. I love Palm Beach as well. You are in Florida, or Ray? Or
Yeah. I'm in the Palm Beach area. Yeah.
You're in Palm Beach. Yeah, I love Palm Beach. I love it up there. I go to Palm Beach and Wellington maybe once a month. I go to ride horses when they don't drop me on the ground like last time.
Oh, okay. You ride horses. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe you should take Ray horseback riding and we could get a video
I
of
should
that.
take him. Yeah, I have a friend.
Right.
She has a horse farm up in Wellington, and she has 13 horses. And we play polo sometimes too. It's super
Hey, there we go. There we go.
Oh my God, that's the worst.
There you go, Ray. You're ready
Well,
to
we're
go.
about to have on Linda Rashke on, and she's in Wellington. She does all the horses. Listen, Lee. Oh, there's the camera's back. The only thing I know about horses, I know betting on horses. I've never rode a horse in my life. I'm gonna go to the Florida Derby this weekend.
Oh, nice.
At Gulfstream Park, Gulfstream Park in Hollandale Beach. Yeah.
Oh, it's right here.
Yeah. So that's fun. I love going to the track there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I go to the Polo Club in Palm Beach, the International Polo Club. That's really, really nice. I went there for the closing of the season, and the match is like once, twice a year, and then there is a party. So yeah, it's an interesting scene. I love Palm Beach, and I think maybe in 10, 15, 20 years I will move there. But for now, Miami works.
Yeah. Florida's awesome. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Florida. You're a published author, Leah. How many books, or just you want to just tell us a little bit about some of the books you're in?
I published one book officially, like a real book, and then I have 2 ebooks. Yeah, and now I'm actually updating the second ebook on trading psychology that I have for free on my Twitter, and I'm updating it with much more content. So it's a work in progress, but people can download it. And as I said, like I wrote again, as much as it's already there, I just wrote and finished last week. So yeah, it's on trading psychology. And the book that I actually wrote in COVID was on casual hookups. It's funny, but it was like my COVID project.
Okay.
And that was called Hookup Without Heartbreak. It was for women mainly, but guys love it. Actually, guys buy it more than women for some reason. It's just to help people have more fun without all the overthinking. And that again, overthinking is around sexuality and relationships and trading. So that's something I always teach people, how to not overthink, because once you start overthinking means you can't control your thinking, and that's what's gonna be killing you in trading and relationships and sexuality, because women overthink everything around sexuality, and then it takes the enjoyment away. So that's why I wrote the book. Yeah, for girls to have fun and for guys to understand why women think certain ways around sexuality, to kind of understand. Yeah.
And that's probably why men are the bigger buyers of the book, I'd imagine.
They love it. They want to understand what women think about, I guess, why they act certain ways. And I did a lot of it's based on like 100 research studies, that book. Like I literally spent 6-7 months just reading research studies, because I wanted to know if women have different brain than men, like why they act differently around sexuality than men. I was super curious. And from my own curiosity, I was researching, and then I decided to write about it because I wanted people to know.
I don't want to spoil the book or anything, but you got me curious now. What was the conclusion? You okay, if you want to share. I don't want to ruin the book, but
so women's brain is same like male. It's not like the brain, it's more the hormones, the neuroscience around sexuality, and then of course the upbringing. Because women are raised differently than men, and we are under the pressure, and we have to get it out of our head. And that's why I think also financial stability and independence will help women to enjoy sexuality more, because a lot of times women want to be good girls. But women are same way desire sex as men. There's no difference in sexuality in that sense. But women are stopping themselves from enjoying sex because they are worried that guys are not going to want them. And that's, again, like this outdated, I have to be a good girl so guys want me. And that's the fear. And why is the fear? Because women are raised to marry well and marry a guy who has some money. It's just how we were raised, especially in US and even in Eastern Europe. So imagine women would be able to make money and they can just choose a guy that they really love and have great sex with. It would be a much better world, I think. Or they're really into, because a lot of marriages happen because of a transaction. And you can still see it even today. Like, it's still very common. So I tell all the sugar babies in Florida, instead of trying guys buying you Chanel bags for $6,000-$7,000, they spend the money on dividend stocks.
Exactly.
Seriously, then you have your dividend portfolio as a sugar daddy.
There you go.
Like,
now we're talking. Yep.
It's funny, but like, yeah.
I could actually see you doing a class. This could be like one of those comedy films where you're teaching, these sugar babies to trade, trading school for sugar baby. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, there you go.
It is a good idea. How many Chanel bags do you need? Seriously.
Having in my lifetime purchased that stuff for ladies, why not?
I mean, look, it's nice to have presents. I love presents. Don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with the Chanel bag, but I'd rather buy dividend stocks.
Exactly. Nothing. I think women should be empowered with that. I mean,
yeah,
I completely agree. I mean, my mother had 3 degrees, and my girlfriend has like 3 or 4. So,
wow, amazing.
Yeah,
you love smart women.
Yeah, I do.
That's
Yeah. My girlfriend is is scary smart. You know, she's an MD PhD, so
Wow, amazing.
I'm just a dumb bid hitter. So
Those are dangerous, huh? Yeah, but look, it's beautiful to have smart women at home. You know, like I appreciate women, they learn. And even if they're mothers and they're housewives, it's okay. But they at least learn something. They grew, like they do something. You know what I mean? Like I am not judgmental towards women. They have children and stay home or like do charitable work. But I love when women do something and when they're not just trying to rely on a guy. And you know what I mean? Like it's just, I don't think that's a good dynamic in the relationship, to be honest with you. So yeah, anyways, it's my sugar daddy and sugar baby trading class. Yeah.
there you go. Hey, with good, you know, multiple revenue streams are a good thing. You know, so you could start a school. You
That's
know,
funny.
Yeah.
and Ray would be happy to be one of the instructors if there's a bunch of pretty girls there. I think Ray would be right there, and he's in the
Ray
neighborhood.
can just go to a yoga class. I guess that's the same.
Yeah, ladies, turn your Birkin bags into dividends. And,
exactly.
there we go.
Yeah. Although those bags went up like 100% in COVID, so it's still pretty good investment.
yeah, I suppose so, huh? Yeah, I suppose so. Wow.
I wanted to buy one and I missed the boat. I'm like, I'm not paying 20 grand for a bag. That's too much. It's like a car.
That's crazy.
Well, you know, I like how trading either, you know, and for me, I started thinking like when I really started playing poker, I started seeing like the world differently, right? Like when you start, you know, and I think you could say the same thing for like trading and investing, right? Like when you start looking at things in probabilities, and it's like you mentioned with the Birkin bag, right? It's like, oh, well, you can look at a bag as an investment. You can look at certain things, you know, like now I look at cars like it's a terrible investment, right? Like it just doesn't, you know, you just look at things a little bit different. And so I think, you know, and I've always been a proponent of that, like trading or like poker or just like, you know, talk like learning game theory can have you approach life in a probably more strategic manner that's going to benefit your quality of life, I guess you could say.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how I look at, I always had very good relationship with numbers. And thankfully my parents, my mom led me to be very fashionable and chic and clean and like study. And my dad always led me really well with the money. So it was a nice balance at home. So I'm not like a cheap person. I also like to spend, but spend on quality over quantity, things that are important. Of course, if you want to get somewhere in life, you should also be presentable, you know, but my dad really taught me to save money and be good with that. So I'm thankful to my parents a lot for who I am. And since I was very, very little, I was saving money. And I was, you know, it's just in Europe, you don't have the stock market. You don't know anything about this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything about stock market and investing until 2013.
Wow.
You know what I mean? For us was to put money in the bank and leave the money in the bank and then buy a house with no mortgage and stuff like that. So there was a lot I learned. I'm sorry.
Where did you grow up?
Slovakia. So back then,
cool.
Czechoslovakia, a communist country. And
Got it.
thankfully, when I was very little, we you know, we had the wall. The communism was gone and the demonstrations in Berlin and everywhere. So I don't remember it, but thankfully it happened. And yeah, but still, I mean, imagine people just really like saving money in the bank was all they did. And then there is the stock market. So this gives like Western countries huge advantage over Eastern countries back then. And we are really behind with this. Yeah, but I'm happy, and now I'm catching up on the lost time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that's good.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Excellent. Leah, game theory is a favorite topic of mine. I learned game theory through practice, though, and then, you know, a little study afterwards. But I'm curious, like, you learned game theory in like school, right? Like that was like a course, or can you just tell me a little bit how you learned game theory, or like how they teach it in like college? That's I'm just interested from that perspective.
You know, I was learning about it more in my master's because I studied negotiation. So of course, when you negotiate, you have to be super strategic.
Sure.
That's when it got mentioned more around that time. And yeah, that was in master's. I don't think you learned this in undergrad, to be honest with you.
Okay.
At all. Like it wasn't mentioned in my undergrad. It wasn't mentioned in high school at all. None of that.
Right.
But just like the game of probability and all the stuff I had. And then I took statistics as well, where I was learning about probability in my undergrad. That was the only thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's highly applicable in trading, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
nothing is 100%. That's what we need to always know, because sometimes you post something on Twitter and people come and say, oh, you said this. I mean, it's probability. It was a highly probable trade, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? Nothing is 100%.
Nothing.
Yep. Yeah, at any
And
one
nothing's-
time, somebody can drop 1 million contracts into a market. You know,
Oh, where? Right
at
now?
at any one time, you can take
Oh.
1 million shares.
I
can
thought
take
right
1
now?
million. Yeah,
You're like, right now, yeah.
Look at somebody. Yeah, you're ready.
I was already opening my
know?
option chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you know, yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
no, you're right.
yeah.
Exactly. It's unexpected things happen, you
Yeah,
know.
somebody
and
comes
that's what-
along with a block and trying to find the bid and look out
Yeah.
below. You
Yeah.
know, so yeah, that's true.
Well,
Very true.
that goes to the human psychology, right? Like I feel like most people see things like black or white, right? And so like coming into trading, it's hard. Like the brain is just not like wired to think in probabilities. I don't believe so, at least. And yeah, it's a huge realization, right? Like, and like nothing to this day like surprises me, you know, because it's all in the realm of possibilities, of
Yeah.
probabilities.
Yeah. But people, as you said, people love to take everything as given because it gives them security and they feel safe, like they can hold on to something. And if it doesn't work out, then people tend to blame others for the failure.
Mhm.
You said that, you know, it's just like really hard to deal
Yeah.
with humans oftentimes. But yeah, that's what we need to remember when we trade. You know, it is
Yeah.
possible that it's going to go, but it's not 100%.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up here shortly, Leah.
Okay.
Just one or two more questions. What's a favorite place of yours to travel to?
So I went to 56 countries and in
Wow.
35 states in the US. And right now, my favorite country, two, Japan and South Africa for now. But I every year have a new one. So I just came from South Africa and I was absolutely fascinated. I was like, I want to buy a house here.
Really?
To that point, yes. Yes.
The people, I think that's the most common answer I've gotten on the podcast, and just like people I talk to like in real life. Japan, Tokyo, I get all the time.
Yeah.
What is it about it over there?
Well, I went all over to the islands. I went to Tokyo, took the train down to Kyoto, stayed in Isuzu Peninsula. I went to the oldest ryokan that is out there. Like it's been hundreds of years old. It was absolutely fascinating. I love Japan because it's beautiful. It's just absolutely new world to me, and it's very organized and very clean. So it reminds me of a Germany with like a beautiful design, because Germany is very organized, but it's also a little bit cold and industrial, the architecture and stuff. But in Japan, it's beautiful. And you have all the temples in Kyoto. You have the food is just excellent. You know, I enjoy the country. The nature is beautiful. And, you know, it's a little bit reserved, you know, they are a little bit restricted. It's a collective culture.
Sure.
So it's not like here individual cultures. So people tend to be a little depressed and drink a lot. But I just loved. I think it's the design and the history and all that was speaking to me a lot. Yeah, I would love to actually go in 2025. I'm gonna go to Japan for 3 months because I'm going to the World Expo, and that I can suggest to everyone to experience at least once in a lifetime. I went to Dubai last year for the World Expo. It was absolutely amazing experience. I'm not sure if you guys know that, but it's like the World Fair.
Yeah, I was at the one in '86 in Vancouver. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I honestly, I'm going to go to every one of them from now on because it was one of the most amazing experiences I had in my life traveling after like Burning Man. I went to Burning Man Festival 10 times. That was awesome.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to hear about that. I'm old, so that.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I need to know what that's all about.
Yeah. That's really yeah. So fun, guys. You're really nice. I could talk to you forever. It's just really sweet.
Yes. Appreciate your time, Lee. And so that's going to conclude today's episode of Confessions of a Market Maker. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please rate and review it for us. If you'd like to join a supportive and professional community of traders, you can join us at Micro E Futures. businessinsider.com. Lia, let the listeners know where they can find you and anything else you'd like them to know.
Yeah, I'm really active mostly on Twitter, Lia the Trader. And I just started a YouTube channel. So yes, please help me grow it. It's also Lia the Trader, and Instagram, Lia the Trader. So these are pretty much the three places where I'm active.
All right. Excellent. Excellent, guys. Go out there. Go subscribe. Go support Lia. Lia, appreciate your time. So for Lia, I'm Paulie Walnuts. He's the gorilla of House Street. You stop, so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good day.